Have you ever held a woman in your arms and felt something was missing? Not in her words, not in her excuses, but in the way her soul no longer leans into yours? That moment where her hug feels lighter, her tone feels distant, and her heart feels like it's already walking towards someone else, even while her body is still standing in front of you. Most men ignore that feeling. They tell themselves they're being insecure, paranoid, or overthinking. But men don't overthink betrayal. They sense it. Because betrayal is not a moment. It's not the night she lies. It's not the message she hides. It's not the "he's just a friend" she repeats a little too loudly. No, betrayal begins long before the physical act. It starts with a shift in energy, a subtle, almost invisible change in the way she looks at you, talks to you, and responds to you. It's the slow fading of the warmth she once poured into you effortlessly. The slow drying up of the admiration she once gave without being asked. The slow disconnect of a woman whose heart is no longer anchored to you, but drifting toward another man. Most men think heartbreak hits like lightning, but real heartbreak arrives like a silent earthquake, shaking everything beneath you while she pretends nothing is happening on the surface. And the most painful part? She'll keep smiling. She'll keep acting normal. She'll keep saying, "I'm just tired. I'm just stressed." Or "you're imagining things," while her emotional energy is feeding someone else. Today I'm going to reveal 8 psychological signs that expose a woman who has already given herself, emotionally or physically, to another man, even when she believes she's hiding it perfectly. These are the signs men in New York, Melbourne, London, Los Angeles, and everywhere feel in their gut but struggle to decode. This video won't be easy to hear, but truth rarely is, and if you stay with me until the end, you'll never be blindsided again. Before we begin, hit subscribe, tap like, and comment your city below. I want to see how far this message travels. Because heartbreak speaks one universal language, across borders, time zones, and the hearts of men. Let's get into it. 1. Her warmth shuts off instantly. There's a type of quiet you only notice when you've known a woman deeply. A quiet that settles in the spaces where her affection used to live. Her body used to gravitate toward you. But now something's different. She doesn't lean in when you speak. She doesn't soften when you touch her. She feels neutral, not angry, not sad, just absent, like her soul stepped out and left her body behind, leaving only the shell of the woman you knew. This shift isn't random. A woman's emotional warmth doesn't fade without reason. When she's been emotionally or physically fulfilled elsewhere, she doesn't return needing your energy. She returns full, strangely calm, subtly satisfied, and disturbingly stabilized in ways that weren't created by you. And that's the deepest cut. You're no longer the source she reaches for when her heart needs warmth or validation. Men make the mistake of reacting, but you don't argue. You don't chase. You don't grasp for what's slipping away. You step back and watch whether the distance closes or grows. Because distance is honest. Energy is honest. Her body's emotional temperature tells the truth long before her mouth does. And when her warmth shuts off instantly, it's never accidental. 2. She becomes too clean too fast. Watch her routine, not casually but consciously. A sudden shower the moment she walks through the door. A new perfume she's never worn, suddenly becoming her favorite. A habit of changing clothes immediately after coming home. A strange urgency to freshen up that wasn't part of her life before. It looks normal, but it's not her normal, and that difference speaks loudly. This is the reset ritual. Not to feel good, but to erase something she doesn't want lingering on her skin or in her memory. People say the body never lies, but what they forget is that guilt works over time to clean the body, as if the scent of betrayal could be washed off with soap and water. It's not about hygiene. It's about the shift in hygiene, the abruptness, the frequency, the emotional tension behind it. A woman who suddenly becomes obsessive about being freshly washed, freshly dressed, freshly scented, is rarely trying to impress you. She's trying to undo something internally by scrubbing herself externally. Patterns don't lie. The body doesn't lie. Only people do, especially when they're trying to wash away a truth they aren't ready to admit. 3. She starts fights out of thin air. When guilt grows heavy, very few women confess. Instead, they redirect, because attacking you is easier than confronting themselves. Suddenly you become the issue. Your tone becomes off. Your habits become annoying. Your silence becomes distance. Your presence becomes a trigger. This is psychological displacement, moving the weight of her guilt onto you so she doesn't have to carry it alone. If she can paint you as the villain, she doesn't have to acknowledge the part of herself she's trying to hide or justify. And the worst part? She sometimes convinces herself that her anger toward you is legitimate, when deep down it's an emotional shield protecting her from the truth she doesn't want to look at. Here's what you do. Don't defend. Don't explain. Don't justify. Just say with calm, grounded strength, "You seem irritated at something that isn't me." Then step back. Guilt hates calmness, because calmness forces the truth to rise to the surface. Your composure becomes a mirror she can't hide from. And the more she tries to throw her guilt onto you, the more obvious her internal conflict becomes. 4. Her body reacts differently around you, not in obvious ways, but in subtle, nearly invisible shifts that only a man who knows her deeply can detect. A different rhythm in the way she moves, a different tension in the way she sits beside you, a different level of presence when you enter the room, a different kind of silence where heavier, less alive, harder to interpret. Your intuition feels it before your mind accepts it, because even if her words stay controlled, her body always betrays her truth. A woman's physical energy is synced to the man she's emotionally tied to. So when that sync suddenly breaks, and nothing in her life explains the shift, you pay attention with stoic clarity. You're not a detective. You're a man who has studied the woman beside him, her normal, her patterns, her emotional fingerprints, and when her energy suddenly feels foreign, your instincts are not paranoia, they are awareness. A woman's body speaks loudest when her loyalty starts to fade. The rhythm changes, the presence changes, the connection changes, and once it changes, it rarely returns the same. She becomes overly sweet all at once. Many men completely misread this sign. They think, she's being loving again. Maybe things are improving, but nothing could be further from the truth. This is compensatory affection, guilt dressed as tenderness, trying to soothe the storm inside her. She hugs you more, almost too tightly. She compliments you in ways she hasn't in months. She laughs harder at your jokes. She acts softer, sweeter, more attentive. Almost like the woman you first met. But something feels off. It's too polished, too perfect, too sudden. Almost like she's trying to rebalance something she knows is wrong deep in her conscience. This kind of affection isn't rooted in desire. It's rooted in fear. Fear that you might sense the shift. Fear that you might notice the distance. Fear that her guilt might spill out through the cracks. Affection born from guilt is always exaggerated, emotionally oversaturated, and strangely rehearsed. Desire doesn't need to perform, it flows naturally. But guilt performs because guilt is desperate to rewrite the story, to cover its tracks, to convince itself that nothing has changed. And here's the dangerous part. If you accept this forced sweetness, you unintentionally become the emotional bandage she uses to quiet her conscience. You turn into the thing she leans on after giving herself elsewhere. Don't accept comfort that wasn't meant for you. It's not love, it's camouflage wrapped in sweetness. And the moment her guilt fades, so will the affection. 6. She disconnects during intimacy. Her body may be present, but her mind isn't. And a man who has truly connected with a woman can feel that disconnection in the smallest moments. Her eyes drift as if searching for something that isn't in the room. Her reactions feel slower, colder, less synchronized with yours. Her touch lacks intention. Her presence lacks depth. The rhythm between you, once familiar and effortless, feels misaligned. This isn't tiredness. It's not stress. It's not just a long day. This is emotional withdrawal, the kind that appears when a woman's loyalty has already begun, anchoring itself elsewhere. When a woman connects intimately with another man, emotionally or physically, she doesn't return to you whole. Her desire fractures, her attention splits, her heart doesn't come back in one piece. Intimacy becomes mechanical. Connection becomes shallow, and you can feel it, not in what she says, but in what she no longer feels. If you ever find yourself touching a body without touching a soul, trust that instinct. Don't chase. Don't force connection. Don't try to reclaim her with intensity, because the painful truth is this: you're not losing her tonight. You lost her days or weeks ago, when her passion silently rerouted itself to someplace or someone else. 7. Her time becomes unpredictable. A woman's priorities are always reflected in her schedule. No exceptions. When she's truly invested in you, She finds her way back to you even on the busiest days. But when her emotional investment shifts, she becomes late. She becomes vague. She forgets to text back. She gives excuses filled with holes that don't match her usual behavior. Her days suddenly become hectic in ways that weren't hectic before. This isn't about time. It's about value. The value she places on you compared to someone else. Every late return becomes a subtle test. How much can I get away with? How quiet will he be? How little will he question? How far can I drift before he reacts? And when you say nothing, when you accept the inconsistency, when you rationalize the unpredictability, she learns one thing. You'll tolerate anything, and that silent permission gives her room to drift even further. Don't scrutinize every excuse. Don't overanalyze every message. Look at the pattern. Patterns reveal commitment. Patterns reveal priorities. Patterns reveal the truth that excuses try to hide. Because a woman's consistency is the clearest reflection of her loyalty. 8. Her story falls apart under pressure. This is the final sign. The one even the most skilled liar can't hide. When the truth is cracking underneath, her story begins to crumble. Her explanations start contradicting themselves. Timelines shift from one version to another. Details change depending on the day. Her tone doesn't match the emotion she's trying to portray. Her eyes drift away at the exact moments truth is supposed to appear. You don't need to call her out. You don't need to interrogate her. You don't need to demand evidence or expose inconsistencies. Because once a story collapses, the truth is already standing there silent, undeniable, and heavy enough for any man to see. The real test isn't whether you catch her, it's whether you choose yourself after you do. Your only job is to decide. Will you accept the collapse and live in denial, or will you walk away with your dignity intact, understanding that saying would cost you more than leaving ever will? Because a man who chooses truth over attachment never loses, he evolves. Conclusion: these signs aren't meant to turn you into a paranoid man searching for clues. They're meant to stop you from lying to yourself. Not every sign means she cheated, but every sign means something needs attention. You either repair what can be repaired, or you walk away from what can't be saved. A man loses himself not when a woman betrays him, but when he betrays his own instincts. If this message hit you in the chest, hit subscribe, tap like, and share this video with a man who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments, have you ever noticed any of these signs? What did your gut tell you? With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.